That's funny. Here, you want to talk about Rittenhouse next? Baby. Look at Jeffrey. We love him. What species though? Just a little boy. The Kyle case has finished. Boy was found not guilty on all charges. One of the main reasons why he was not found guilty on all charges is because the jury instruction said specifically that all of the charges are lumped together. So he was either guilty of all of them or not guilty of all of them. They couldn't pick lesser charges to hit him with, and the other lesser charges were thrown out before they got to the jury. So he's been out. And one of the first things that he's done after his case is completely concluded is he went to go talk with Tucker Carlson. Why? I think the main argument, that sounds not legal, but okay. In these cases, the judge has extreme discretion in their courtroom. So he can't do like literally whatever he wants, but he can do that. Those are the jury instructions that he could put together. And the argument would basically be, from what I've heard, is that the other charges were things like reckless endangerment, dangerous use of like a firearm. They dropped the carrying charge specifically before this went to trial. So that wasn't even on the option. So he was like, if he shot them for like a good reason, then he didn't endanger anybody else. And so we'll lump all those together. And if he did shoot them for a bad reason, then he did endanger everybody else. So they're all lumped together. All of the charges would go one way or the other. So the jury didn't have the choice to pick one. So yeah, if you wanted to know. He went on Tucker Carlson. I have no clue why this is one of the first things that he decided to do, but he's there. He wants to talk to Tuck. Is the full interview out yet? The full interview is not out just yet, but Tucker has posted some clips of it on his Twitter account, and there's some other things that have been said about it. So I want to look at one of these clips in particular. There are other ones in here, but I don't really care for going over them. Is there a chance for a mistrial? Prosecution can't appeal cases, so the defense could. They could try. They could make an appeal and say that this was a mistrial and try and get another one. I don't know why they would. They won. So the prosecution doesn't have the ability to be like, there's a bad trial. Once you're not guilty, you're not guilty, and you just walk. And that's how that works. But I want to look at one of these clips in here, okay? Because it's been making the rounds, and I just think it's really funny. Just take a look at this for a second.
This case has nothing to do with race. It never had anything to do with race. It had to do with the right to self-defense.
Right.
I'm not a racist person. I support the BLM movement. I support peacefully demonstrating. I believe there needs to be change. I believe there's a lot of prosecutorial misconduct, not just in my case, but in other cases. And it's just amazing to see how much a prosecutor can take advantage of somebody.
And so here he's like, I support BLM. I like BLM. Is he being honest? I don't know. I don't know this kid personally, so I can't tell you. I can't tell you if he's being honest. What I do know is that it made people mad, very mad. Actually, there's some screenshots of some of the molding, which is, whoo, baby. Wait, I just want to make sure none of this is like Giga TOS. Yeah, we can take a look at some of these that were screenshotted, and I want to see a little bit that were in the wild. All right, I changed my mind. Kyle's is not white. I repeat, code brown. He is not one of us. Just Cowboy Manlet is truly molding over the situation. So bad, at least, that Kyle is complete with this one statement. He's lost his white card. He doesn't even get to be Caucasian anymore. Code brown, boys. It's all over. Pull out. Spent 3 weeks praying for this dude to be acquitted just for him to say this. I spent weeks for him to not spend a day in jail for killing people, only for him to come back and say that black people's lives exist and should matter. Yikes. It's fucking over, man. I'm done. Society's fucked. It's all over. Wait, did he think that, like, I mean, it was a possibility. Did they really think that Kyle was going to come out black-pilled and be like, we must repeal the 14th Amendment. We must appeal the 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th Amendment. Just wipe them shits out. Okay, we must return. I am anti-black people now. Yeah, no loyalty to your race, bro. Do you really care about us? Be honest. Don't pander to piece of shit liberals. BLM is a domestic terrorist organization with leaders who steal donations. I don't know if you guys knew this, but apparently I'm a terrorist. I had no clue. I just thought I was chilling with my political advocacy, but little did I know I was a part of a terrorist organization. I'm a terrorist all along. Oh my goodness. Who could have seen this coming? Hey, yo, welcome to the club. Congrats. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've worked very hard for this. Other ones screeching, no, why? Oh no. Someone said they're going to attack him when he gets home. He's going to get his ass beat once he makes it home after this interview. This person didn't like Kyle so much that he called him a homosexual. Sorry, guys. You support BLM. Little did you know that makes you homosexual. Congratulations. This person typed in all caps, the race card was introduced into the Rittenhouse case by the fake news media, and BLM fell for it flat in their faces. Okay, we got a wordsmith here. Is this double spaced? Why is this double? Oh my geez. Why still allowed to be manipulated like that by the fake media? To this day, you people still allow that into your minds. You people, I mean blacks. Stop it cold. Just incredible things happening. Like, no matter what you think about like what happened, you have to say that this is hilarious. That this is absolutely hilarious to be sitting across from Tucker Carlson, who's been beating the drum about why we need to make BLM a domestic terrorist organization. But the second they use their like toy, because that's what Kyle is, a toy to them. Their talking head toy sits down. And he's like, I support BLM. There's like misconduct. And I'm not racist. And they're like, fuck, we had it. And here's the big reason why conservatives love dead advocates, okay? They love dead advocates. If you're dead, they jump onto it. And that's why they're so hard on the thing on like abortion, because it's really easy to throw out a lot of advocacy and inject all of your politics into someone who can't speak, who can't say no, who can't fight back. That's why they love dead people. That's why they love Ashley Babbitt. They can use Ashley Babbitt as whatever they want, however long as they want, because they've made a martyr. And now they get to inject every single political talking point they want into that corpse, and then and parade it around, because she can't fight back. Even if her family comes out and says don't do this, they won't care about that. And this is the problem that comes along with a lot of right-wing territory. If you try this and the person's, unfortunately for them, still alive, it doesn't look too good for your case. They love their martyrs. There are some conservatives who were even caught on camera saying, we need to make our own George Floyds. That's what it is at the end of the day. And here's one thing, okay? Here's one thing I want to talk about, okay? And I know you guys won't like this. Kyle is a victim in all of this. And he's going to be a victim for the rest of his life. Like when he went to Kenosha that night, not only did those people he killed die, Kyle died that night as well. And he won't come back. He'll never be able to live a normal life again. With how high profile his case is, with how his name is in the media now, he'll never be able to live a normal life. And he'll be moving through his entire life being used and thrown away by right-wing political hacks, because he's not a human to them. They don't care about Kyle the person. They never have. He is a prop. He is a toy, and he will be around them for as long as he's useful. There's no difference. They don't view Kyle as anything different than the situation that surrounded like Mr. Potato Head, the like the Native American girl on the butter, like Uncle Ben's, or anything along those lines. These are the same exact things for them. Dr. Seuss books for taking away that hardworking Chinese man. He's no different. Syrup lady, yeah. He's no different. He is a toy that they are going to milk as hard as possible and then just throw away. And so this can lead to like short-term gains for him. I can 100% see that, how he can be paid for a lot of this, how he could get like pretty high profile. The likelihood of him having normal human interactions moving into the future is probably near zero. And all of the people who are flocking to him right now aren't flocking to him because they like him or he's a cool person. They're flocking to him because he killed people, and they like that. And he's always going to be associated with these murders, with these homicides. And everybody who flocks to him only wants to be around him for that reason. It's going to affect everything he does moving into the future. Hiring opportunities, relationship opportunities, whether those be like romantic or platonic. That's going to be his life now. And the right are going to use him the same way they used Ashley Babbitt, to be their martyr, to be their toy, to be to inject their politics into, for as long as I guess he doesn't keep saying that he loves BLM. That put a little damper in what they're, in what they were saying, but he's going to be used for that. And something even further for why I really say he's a victim is because he was 17. Would you guys do something like this at 17? Would you guys drive into the middle of what is a violent riot where people are breaking windows, shooting each other, and setting fires? Would you run into something like that as a child, as a minor, as a 17-year-old with a gun, and then run around at like fucking 11 at night? That's insane. He's a victim of a massive failure of our media, of our gun culture, of bad parenting, all of that, because he was radicalized. I was brainwashed by my parents. Yeehaw, libertarian American ideology. True. Once again, and that makes you a victim as well. He like it or not, like a 17-year-old is a fucking kid. What got into him to lead him to think that that was a decent idea for him to do this is what makes him a victim. Because that night could have easily killed him. And what would he have died for? Think about it for a second. What would he have died for? Some random car lot? Like a single broken window in some strip mall store. That's what he's putting his life and the life of other people on the line for. That's it. Nothing else. I actually don't see much of a difference between Kyle and like Somalian child soldiers. I really don't. Because at the end of the day, they do the same exact thing. Or child soldiers working for like Al Qaeda or ISIS. I don't see any difference between these two groups. These two people, because at the end of the day, these kids were radicalized. They're fed the same information that Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Laura Ingraham, Donald Trump, your like random fucking Republicans, Ted Cruz, any like online talking head, Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool with his Civil War drumming, Alex Jones. He was fed all of that. And remember what they say, the country's falling apart. Everyone's going to die. They're going to destroy everything. That like blocks have been completely destroyed, and they're out there like BLM's executing people. And so they've taken this young, small, impressionable child and turned them into a murderer. Turned them into someone who would throw his life away for a car dealership. Someone who would throw his life away for a Target window. To throw his life away for a cafe table on one of their little balconies. That's what he was dying for. That's what he put his life on the line for. I don't think it was worth it. You're right. He's a victim of stochastic terrorism. The same exact thing that you would see, that we would see responsible for child suicide bombers in the Middle East. There is no difference between what's happening here. And they've changed, because of that, they've changed the trajectory of his life. They've ended 2 other lives, gravely wounded another one, and cemented his name as a killer and a political puppet for as long as he lives and for even after he lives. And there's nothing that he can do about it. I don't know what his life is going to turn out like in the future. Republicans aren't known for long-term support for their props. You can just ask all the people who stuck their neck out for Donald Trump, who are now under the bus, being were prosecuted, sitting in jail right now because they stuck their neck out for someone who wouldn't spend a second doing the same for them. Tucker Carlson wouldn't spend a second putting himself on the line to protect fucking Kyle Rittenhouse, but Rittenhouse himself would put his life on the line to protect like Fox News's like ground floor windows from being busted in during like a riot. Is that something that is that a fair trade to you? Tucker Carlson would have been flown out of the building and he would have been like, fuck you guys. And these kids would be shot down. And that's just how it works. Granted, he got a trial, mostly got free publicity. Yeah, he got publicity, but do you really think like your average person is going to think of, oh yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse, what a good lad. What a good boy. You really think the majority of people, if you ask them, are going to be like, yeah, that Kyle boy, what an American hero? No, they're not. They're going to be like, he's some fucking little kid dumbass who ran out into the middle of a parking lot with a gun at night and shot 2 people. That's what people are going to remember him as. He's not going to be some like great fucking American hero. That's not going to happen. Maybe for the right, in some regards, and they'll use that for more stochastic terrorism to lead more other children into these situations. But the general public, they're not going to remember him as like that. Oh, he's in the spotlight now and he's going to have to deal with that. Yeah, he's going to deal with that. I think his name will be high profile for at least a long time, but it's going to be, I think he'll more likely than not get like the Zimmerman treatment, where they're not going, when you evoke his name, it's not going to be necessarily like good images that come from that. He's probably going to get the Zimmerman treatment because the right's going to throw him away. They're going to throw him away when he becomes not useful for them. That's the only reason why they're talking about him right now. And that's why when he said that he supports BLM, they already started to throw him away. They're done with him. It's literally like the fucking like Toy Story meme. I don't want to play with you anymore. They dropped his ass the second he stops being politically useful to them. So like that being said, once again, as much as we like don't like everything that led us to this situation, he was 17 and it's hard for me to not have some compassion for like a kid who was radicalized into thinking that throwing your life away for a car dealership lot is not in some way a victim. What if he goes the leftist route? I don't think he's going to go the leftist route. I do think that I can see him going like the centristy Republican route. I can see that. It's like feeling bad for cult members. Yeah, it's like feeling bad for like cult members who were indoctrinated into a cult and like killed themselves over it. You know what I mean? That's the same way. The only difference is he didn't die. He easily could have. But I know you guys have some family members who were normal, who got like brainwashed by Fox, like friends or family who've been like brainwashed by like Fox News or Facebook or something along those lines. They watched a really shitty Ben Shapiro or like Tucker Carlson or like Steven Crowder clip, and now they're like, they can be like kind of crazy, or like they're QAnon, or maybe you guys have some like friends or family members who are going to different parts of the country waiting for like JFK Jr., who died in a plane crash in 1999 to rise from the grave, dubbed Donald Trump the king of all, travel the country for 7 days and then die again. Like those people are real, and the brainwashing that led them there is no more abhorrent and I think sympathetic than, once again, like African or Middle Eastern child soldiers. So that's I don't know, that's kind of like what I think about it. You know, you want a hard left Kyle arc? I'd want a hard left Kyle arc mostly because it would trigger the righties. It would trigger the rightoids. That's the main reason. It would just be funny as fuck. Compassion's important. Good that you're reminding me of that. Yeah, having some compassion's important, because I was thinking about this last night while I was putting this segment together, and I was thinking about it while I was riding my bike earlier today, and I couldn't get away from that feeling. Do you think he'd be accepted? No. For one, he would have to accept guilt and do some like repentance for like what got him into that situation. He would have to recognize like the brainwashing there and do like a lot of, and it would have to do a lot of work for him to be accepted. But I do think that there are some groups that would accept him. I mean, there are groups who have taken like ex-Nazis, you know? I can see him like one day like going underground for 5 years, changing his name, and then like trying to live a normal life or something, or just dying, one of the two. He could be reverse Dave Rubin. Hopefully he doesn't get into comedy. I fucking hope, bro. Oh my gosh. You can see liberals eating it up. Oh, liberals would like, they would scarf and slurp that shit down. Okay, if he did like an arc, like a redemption arc like that, he would be like a on the payroll every other show, like MSNBC contributor. Literally every other show, MSNBC contributor. I could see it. You know when a story comes out and then the fucking host, their square drops to like 1, and then there's like fucking 6 other people waiting there to talk? He would be one of them. I've grown more sympathetic as of late, learned more about the situation. I don't think he's a hero. He was a dumb and reckless. Yeah, he's just kind of like, he was like a toy. Yeah, 100% MSNBC contributor. That's him. Donations and grassroots won't cut it. Yeah, killing 2 people. Definitely you need to do a little bit more than like campaigning for your local progressive office. You know what I mean? It do be similar. They're both usually longing for a place to fit in, unwelcomed, and they believe that yeah, it's actually the same reason how like a lot of guys can get like looped into the absolute like suicide death trap that is like the incel verse or incel dumb and just rot, just lay down and rot, just just like that. You know how Steve Bannon said that he loves to troll like incel boards and poll to find like the most like dejected like misfit, loser, depressed, anxious, sad like internet dwellers he can, and then indoctrinate them into like far right extremism just to use them as tools and then just throw their life away. That's just what it is. He's like a fucking virus. Okay, he hops into people, makes them like destroys their life, and then leaves. Because at the end of like they're like shit. Okay, they're like bad people. When you're a bad person, it's not like other people's problems as well. You more likely than not have a bad life too. Even like the fucking like Trump supporter anime profile with Trump hat Nazis on Twitter. Those guys aren't living it up. They don't like log off and are like, man, I can't let me go talk to my smoking hot girlfriend. I just got home from my really well-paying job and my sick home that I bought. Like, that's not them. It never has and never will. He could be a multi-millionaire Democrat grifter. I can see it. Do you think these Dr. Seuss right-wing distractions can be helpful to the left? They can be. You can like point them out and you can clown on them for it. Right? Because it is kind of ridiculous what they're throwing around. I mean, even a lot of the like CRT shit hasn't gone as far as they've really wanted it to. I think the real problem is that the left isn't active in the same way the right is. If you can clown on them and you can take that into the real world and like right wingers get like dunked on for like the dumbass shit that they say, I feel like it would be more effective. But a lot of them just aren't that effective, like, offline, and they don't show up at city board meetings. And they don't show up at like school board meetings. That just doesn't happen. So you don't get that as often. But they're like bussing people all around the country. I mean, Matt Walsh literally, remember that story that we did? Matt Walsh literally bought a home in Loudoun County only so he can speak for 30 seconds to piss and moan about how trans people exist. Shit's incredible. Remember that? Yeah. Literally bought an apartment to speak for 30 seconds at a school board meeting. His kids weren't in. He wasn't in that district. Bitch lives in fucking Tennessee. We don't really have people who do stuff like that. So I think it like could, but there needs to be some like activity behind it than just like clowning on them, Yeah, his trans senses tingled. Yeah, he wakes up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night. Somewhere, a trans person smiled. I must stop that. And he fucking throws off the covers, hops out of bed, and then just goes sprinting to his car. As he's on his way to the airport, the AI in his car is already buying the plane ticket as he's on his way there. Go fly to some random county with like 5,000 people to say that like trans people should be hung. This is all he does with his spare time. Because he doesn't take care of his kids. He said that at least.